Oh, we're live. Hello. Oh, let's just Tannenbaum so you guys can see him a little. Hello, weirdos, and welcome to a very special PlayWyrd stream. Today, yep, PlayWyrd's beating me to it. Today we will be debuting Waldo's Wheel of Woe, or Woe. That is subject to interpretation. It's a matter of perspective. It's a very fine line between woe and woe, if you think about it. So, the plan is, I can just get all my windows straight. So the plan is I am going to be painting Tannenbaum of the Explorer Society, and you will see that we actually have a little wheel widget there with some different tasks that could potentially be set to me, and I dare say that poor Tannenbaum here is not going to leave the stream unscathed, but we're going to do our best to have him looking his best, despite what Waldo decides to throw at us. So hopefully, hopefully you guys can give me a bit of assistance with that, a bit of direction. Hopefully, you won't aid in sabotaging this paint job with Waldo, okay? Because that would not be nice at all, okay? So, without further ado, I'm going to start painting this guy, minding my own business, and I guess we'll just see what happens. He's maybe Waldo's forgotten and is not going to be at the wheel. Maybe we've knocked it off and we'll be all right. So, paint leather. Start with some Rhinox hide. So we're gonna. So Tannenbaum is like a sort of cartographer type. So we're going to paint him accordingly. So I've got my little wet palette here, or sorry, my dry palette. I was using the wet palette earlier for something else. And we're going to get painting. So just using not a very special brush. I'm just going to use that to do the Tannenbaum. So just base coating, so we're not too precious. That's an interesting question. So you tend to find that some people use one or the other, or not both. I like to switch up. I'll jump between them just depending on what I'm working on. Like I've been using the dry palette a lot lately, purely because it reads a lot better on the on camera. So, like, you'll see some people that do have the old wet palette cam on stream, and they'll have set their lighting up specifically to accommodate that. But generally speaking, I find that the dry palette reads a lot better on camera, which is one of the reasons that I've been using it so much of late. But I would say, to be honest, if you're an absolute beginner to painting, I would say that you're better using a dry palette, because the fact of the matter is that if you're using a wet palette, it can sometimes be a bit difficult to gauge just how much water you're using in your paint. That being said, if you have a very specific consistency in mind for your paint and you want to keep it that way, and you're going to be doing a lot of uh, fidgety blending and painting where you're perhaps going back and forth between a few of the same colors, then I would say that a wet palette is very useful. But for what we're doing, which is just base coating, I would just use a dry palette. The other thing I would say is that metals tend to be a lot easier to manage on a dry palette. Another benefit of the dry palette is that you can basically, like we've done here. So this is just grey primer over plasticard. But if I wasn't painting on the stream, where I wasn't necessarily concerned about how the color of my palette could potentially be over or underexposing my model, I would probably just have this black, and that would allow me then to experiment with my paint, because it's plastic with a primer on it. It's essentially emulating the surface of the model. So it's quite useful for experimentation, I would say. Spin that wheel. Stop encouraging him, Doug. All right. Uh-oh, I hear flapping. Oh no. Oh man. Use your largest brush for 5 minutes. Okay. So the largest brush, I think I might have a bigger one here. No, it's not too bad for base coating. I think we knocked it off there. I've got this one here, which we see it next to the model. It's pretty big. I've not used this one before. At least I'm base coating. Start the timer. You're getting far too into this. And I have been told, by the way, I'm allowed to pick one with a point. So any rules lawyers out there, if you think that, oh man, this is it's so long. Look at it. See, whenever you try, like when I try to put it in the, it's just going all over the shop. Oh, there we go, camera. It does, doesn't it? Does seem like Guslado is angling to be a victim. I'm trying to avoid using the belly so that I don't flood the model as much. Raven Art Minis wanting to spin the wheel. He can be bribed to spin on behalf of someone. Oh. No, I don't think anyone wants to. Yeah. Hot tub stream. No, I don't think anyone wants to see that. Could be wrong, though. He accepts compliments or excitement over Gen Con. There you go. You can just straight up flatter him. I'm excited for the Nightmare box. Time to paint some mare people. Same. That box looks really nice. Stop being so excited for Gen Con. This wheel's going to be... this wheel's going to take off at this rate. Jeez. Let's all be calmly enthusiastic about Gen Con. Let's not get excited. Well, Waldo can be told weird. Do some excellent minis, especially the goblins. Soon, jeez. I'm trying to get as much done as I can with this paintbrush before this model becomes a wee catastrophe. I'm going to try and keep them looking nice. Well, there's some online stuff for Gen Con, right? Be able to tune into that. Yeah, I hope to go to yeah, there you go. Look, streams galore. There's going to be stuff happening. This brush is horrible, by the way. So thanks, everyone. Look at it. That's the same size as some miniatures. Just trying to get loads of work done before you guys sabotage this for me. I'd love to go to Gen Con though. So a couple of my friends used to go quite regularly. Right. Changing colour quickly. Excuse me, a bit of decorum, Raven Art Minis. Thank you very much. Do you get good coverage with this, mind? Yeah, we're, I believe, hashing out a schedule. I'm trying not to get too much water on this. Because of the size of the brush, it's a thirsty beast. I actually started painting this wee guy the other night. See, I did the wee pouches on him. Well, I didn't say it was my least favourite brush ever. I've certainly used worse brushes, but it's just, I mean, because if I just like leaned into making a mess of this, I feel like it's going to take the sport out of the wheel somewhat. Right, there you go. It's got. I think we're going to eventually, provided that Waldo does not completely destroy this model I'm working on. Right. I'm good to stop now, apparently. So, goodbye, Giganto brush. I mean, if I'm painting something large, what are the qualities that make a brush the worst? So, I would say that, generally speaking, a brush that doesn't hold its shape is probably the number one. I think a brush that probably is too rigid, although it depends what you're painting, doesn't it? Because something that a lot of the characteristics that would make a good dry brush would make a terrible, base coating brush or a detail brush. But I would say like the sort of catch-all thing for a good brush should be that it holds its shape. Right, what color are we going to do your shirt? Okay, we've got this Mojave white, sort of off-white. Do a little bit of that. So I'm just gonna, yeah, we'll do Mojave white, because on his artwork he's all like covered in ink spots and things like that. So I think, why am I still using this brush? What's this? What has this wheel done to me? Just automatically reached for that brush. I think we need to give him a wee bit of a dry off there. So this is a lad called Tannenbaum. Forgive me if I've not pronounced that correctly. And he is a member of the Explorers Society. I believe specifically he is a cartographer, purveyor of maps, which is why you see he's covered in scrolls and tools and things. He's even got like a little sort of monocle up here. And so what we're going to do I think is cover him in like ink spots and things, which is how he looks in his artwork. Well, there you go. Christopher Tannenbaum's first introduced in Penny Dreadful, In Defense of Innocence. He was one of the charters sent to investigate Innocence, but due to the Nephilim incursion, he never wants to go back. This is as good a reason as any not to go back, I'd say. A bit of a mess there. Go. Oh man, that looks really bright on the camera. Sure, it's not quite as... I did see the Nightmare box, and I absolutely love it. Love fish people. Yeah, I was going to say that as well. Actually, Breachside Broadcast has really helped me since I have taken my first teetering steps into the weird world of Malifaux and the other side. Oh, look at that. Oh, jeez. Uh-oh. I'm nervous. Oh. Introduce your pet to the stream. Okay. Right. Well, I think if we can... Well, what's going on? think we're back. Yes, we are back. Okay. Apologies for that. I had to do a hard reset. My computer just had to exercise some Nephilim from my computer, but I've got Ezio here with me. So he is a Herman's tortoise who is not happy about being lifted right now. So I'm going to put him back down. Thank you, Charlotte. My wife was on hand there to help with that, which is good. So yeah, there you go. You got to meet Ezio. So that was quite a nice one, actually. Thank you, Ben, for no problem. Right, so I've pulled the camera out a little bit too much, I think, there. So let's there. Turtle. Yep. Oh, wasn't that precious, guys? Wee Ezio. So I need to double check how old he is. But I'm not sure how it's changed since all the recent events, but it used to be that European law required that you have documentation for exotic animals, basically to stop them from being stolen or trafficked, things like that. So I actually have a certificate for Ezio that it lists where he was hatched and his country of origin and everything like that, because they're actually considered two separate things. So his country of origin is listed as Macedonia, which I think now is actually North Macedonia. And he was hatched in Bristol, I think. So, yeah, that was Ezio. I do not tie a balloon around them for easy spotting because I don't know if any of you have spent much time in the company of a tortoise, but they are extremely noisy. They're like little bulldozers. So I can usually hear where he is. But yes, he does go for little walks. And sometimes when it's warmer, he'll even go for a little walk in the garden. He's very easy to. Yeah, they're quite clumsy little animals. They just if something's in their way, they'll usually just try and they'll try and either climb over the top of it or just like I was saying, he'll just kind of bulldoze his way through stuff. I think we'll dry that coat off a little bit there. I'm a big fan of using like real life references in my models. Um, on my own stream, I just made affiliate, by the way, on my own stream. Woo! Which was I was invited on to do Waldo's Wheel of Woe to celebrate becoming affiliate. Um, I think it was more one of those things where Waldo's like, "Oh, I think you're a big man, do you? Well, let's see how you get on with my wheel. See if you still want to be an affiliate then, Ben." I think it was more that kind of thing. He's very contrary as Waldo, and quite antagonistic, I have to say. He can be quite difficult to work with. But we can't get rid of him no matter what we do. So what are you going to do? So yeah, over on my stream, I was actually thinking of rather than doing a night where I'm painting, I might actually go through like my own collection and show you some of the models I've painted, because I actually do use animal references a lot when I'm painting monsters and creatures. And I may or may not have some plans along those lines for this very stream. How about that? But yeah, I think I'd love to do something tortoise shell. Feed Waldo enough cake so he falls asleep. I might try that. But that's a sort of short-term solution. It's what's he going to do to me when he wakes up and finds out? I should whisper so he can't hear me. It's what's going to happen if he finds out that I've done that to him. What will the consequences be? Anyway, yeah, so painting models, painting miniatures. Yeah, I think he would. Yeah. Yeah. Is that wheel spinning? Add a color gradient somewhere on the model. Okay. So I think Waldo wants it sometime this stream. Right. So I don't immediately need to add a color gradient. It needs to be there, but I should probably start doing that if we're going to get it. So I think, I mean, we could do the hair, but my feeling is that it's probably going to read better on the apron or on here. So I think because there's a lot of leather on this guy, but we don't want it all to look exactly like yon leather pouch here. I kind of like the idea. I think I did this on my own stream where I painted a model and I said I like this idea of him being like an adventurer type. So all of his gear had like aged at different rates, as if like, you know, his shoes had fallen to bits, so he needed to get new ones, but his jacket was still quite old and tatty. Like he just replaces things when he needs to. And I think Tannenbaum is probably a bit like that, you know, maybe a little bit obsessive. And I think similarly will only replace things if they're falling to bits. So I think we'll do it here on the apron. Okay. So a couple of different ways that we can build up a gradient. And I think what we'll do is we'll do a little bit of red leather. So it's going to be like a lighter reddish color in here. And it's going to be like darker down here and a bit tatty, as if it's been like part of the tanning process. So let's quickly get this done. Looks like Waldo had too much cake. Uh-oh. You better check the staff kitchens, PlayWyrd. So a couple different ways of doing a gradient. Some people, what they'll do is they'll put in like a solid bar of color and then wet blend it that way. We're going to do some little push strokes like so. So getting our paint nice and thin like so. Twist the brush, gather up all that pigment. And then we're just going to maybe do it a little bit thicker than that. So when you talk about doing like a color gradient on the model, it can be up and down, or it can be that, or it can be a combination of the two. Sometimes people will do a color gradient what we do is just, this is some people call this two brush blending, which is you put your paint on with one brush, and then the idea is that with a clean brush just with water on it, you just kind of blend in those edges like so. Let that dry a bit. This is the thing, right? Although it's wet blending, you don't want it to all be wet. So some people, if they're doing what you would call a gradient, they'll actually use, like, they'll transition between completely different colors. You know, if they maybe want things to look a bit ethereal or magical, that's quite a good way of doing that. But a color gradient could also just be your highlighting and shadow. You know, but like we're doing here. So you don't have to have a gradient that transitions between very starkly different colors. A gradient can be quite subtle as well, you know, much like we're doing here. But we're gonna really try and push the contrast to make this look nice. Maximum visual impact is what we're going for. So as much as, like I was saying earlier, we do like to use some real life references because good fiction has one foot in reality, right? But at the same time, the rule of cool trumps everything. So if it looks cool but it's not necessarily realistic, do it. Still better. Okay, so looking good, looking interesting. We've got, it's quite matte up here. It's a little bit more glossy to the side. We've got some different finishes in there. I think Waldo just wanted to lull Ben in a false sense of security. I think you're right. He can be quite sneaky that way. So that was brown oxhide to brown leather, which they look fairly similar, but you can see already, just with a bit of blend, and what a difference that can make. So let's try and put something else in there. If you want to make your colours a bit more interesting, especially with something like leather, it's quite a natural tone. You actually, it's very unusual for something like leather to be like one colour all the way through if you examine it closely, especially if it's not been dyed. So we're going to just glaze in some different again wet blend, so clean brush just with water, just like so. And we don't want to mess around with that too much as we are doing a little bit of two brush blend, so we want to dry it before we do any more messing around with it. We can push that a little bit more. Let's try and get a little bit more red there. So we use the mix between the brown leather and the red leather. I'm just going to use straight up red leather now, which is like this nice maroon color here. And I'm just going to glaze that in here. And the idea here is, you maybe think, oh, it's, a little bit rough there. The idea here is that we're trying to punch some color into it. So what we'll do is when we go to put some texture onto this and some shading, we'll neaten things up a little bit then. But for now, we just want to get some color in there. I think this could do with being pushed back a little. So now I've made a mess of that, but what I'll do is I'll go over that with the brown leather again just to pick that back out. Okay, so back to the brown leather. So this, as much as I'm using the dry palette here, this is a pretty good example of where a wet palette is sometimes favourable to your dry palette. Just paying a little bit of attention to light. Okay, and I think what we'll do next Oh dear. Need to be careful with the hairdryer there, look. He was flopping about a bit. Oh. Cephalopod Studios is raiding with a... Ah, I don't... Have we been raided before? I don't think we've been raided. That's cool. So, hello. Welcome. More people spin the wheel. Oh, jeez. Oh, man. Right, anyway. Color gradient. Make up one fact about the model that you're painting. Okay. So, a lot of people don't know this about Tenenbaum, but he does carry some maps with him. He is like he's a cartographer. This guy, we're talking about this guy here. This is Tannenbaum. So he is a cartographer. He does have maps with him, but most of the papers that he's carrying with him are actually news clippings of people that have suffered like horrible but strange deaths. It's quite grim, isn't it? I know. So like so he's got one article. It's like just a guy that was sat on by a camel, and tragically died. Yeah, he's actually quite horrible when you get to know him. Tannenbaum. People think that he's he's eccentric. It's Tannenbaum. He loves his maps. He's a bit of a ghoul, truth be told. So he's got all of these news clippings. All of this, yeah. So like there'll be like a guy that's been sat on by a camel. There's one that's like a guy's. He's like he's tried to play like napalm. Like napalm tennis, where you dip the tennis ball in the napalm and you set fire to it. He tried to play napalm tennis and sadly he set himself on fire. And he maps out where these things happened. So that's actually where his love of like cartography came from. People think that that's what he was always into. He was actually tracking like where all these morbid events happened. That was his passion. And what people don't realize is it's just like it's tracking these horrible deaths is what really. And I'm just smiling because I'm nervous, not because I find this funny. I'm just nervous telling you guys about this. So yeah, you think you know a guy? Grim business, people. Horrible stuff. Some bad people out there, guys. Watch out. Thank you for the raid, Cephalopod Studios. Thank you for joining us. Anyone that's come in as part of that raid, you probably saw you got a wee spin of the wheel there, courtesy of Waldo. So you got a wee story about Tannenbaum, this guy here that a lot of people don't actually know. So there you go. Probably a lot of people don't want to know, actually. So just a wee bit more colour into the apron here, leather apron. I need to be careful there because I nearly melted them. Nearly melted poor Tannenbaum. Or maybe we should have melted them because of what we now know about him. Horrible man. Collecting all these news clippings. Who would do something like that? So I'm just putting a wee bit of a slightly darker colour into our apron. Switch that smaller brush, try and get some of these shadows in. So, like we were saying, the idea with this is leather's not one colour all the way through. So, that's an interesting one. If there's anyone that can tell us what the weirdest death that they know of in Malifaux is, then sound off. And make sure you send make sure you let make sure you let Tannenbaum know about that. I'm sure he'd love to know. The one gremlin who got shoved into Zoraida's cauldron for telling her to get off his lawn. Charming. Here was me thinking she was just a sweet old lady. Just an eccentric. So there we go. We got ourselves a little bit of a color gradient there. What we're going to do is a little bit go a little bit darker down here. There we go. So we've got a nice smooth transition between some different tones there. We need to do the wee bit up the top. We've got some at the back here. Not as many folds at the back there. See that? Yeah. Natural causes. Yeah, that's a pretty weird one, isn't it? Yes, that is true. Very good point. So, weirdly, because of the way that this apron is shaped, you've got more light falling down near the bottom of the back of the apron. So it means that the top bit is going to be in more shadow. So we're going to do a wee gradient there as well. must have been the arcanist. Exactly. So a little bit. Just a really quick and easy way of creating a bit of a color gradient. Oh, excuse me. Is to use the same paint in different densities, like layered over one another. So a bit like what I'm doing here. So like for instance, what I'll do is like I'll brush that on a bit like that. Okay, maybe not as rough as that. If you can imagine that this is black, yeah, we do that a little bit rough because it creates the texture on the leather. And then what we would do is we would maybe come back and build that up a little bit there like that. And we do some strokes there as well. And then finally you would come and with quite keeping your color quite opaque. Oops. You maybe do something like that. Yeah. And then even what you could do is come back with a little bit of water. Not as much water as that. It's a terrible example. But okay, let's use this here and do something like that. Okay, let's move that down there. There. And it gives us a little bit patchy, but you get the idea. You can pull that away. Just move that around as long as it's wet. So yeah, creating a color gradient doesn't need to be as intimidating as you would first perhaps think. And you'd actually, people think a color gradient always needs to be very neat as well, and that's not true either. If, for instance, you were painting something like leather, your gradient's not going to be completely neat and even. And actually, if you try to have it too neat and too even, it would look strange. So let's do a little bit of highlighting on that. So a bit of far brown, which is it's like a beige color. I'll just mix that in with a bit of orange brown. A bit more orange than that. I'll use a brush. There we go. Now what we're going to do is put a little bit of texture in here. So we're going to have, so it's almost like very translucent scribbles that I'm doing to create texture. Uh-oh. I think I see a wheel spinning. Paint with the left hand for 5 minutes. Okay. Right. I believe in you. This is going to feel weird. Okay, so modeling the right hand. Let's try doing just a little bit of base coating first, see how we get on. I don't think I'm going to be capable of anything other than jeez, right. What was my heavy white I used for the shirt? The left-hand path offers dark rewards. Ugh. Yeah, I'm glad I'm getting a bit of sympathy now. Oh, man. Oh, jeez. Right. Oh man, I'm so bad at this. I feel like I can't even hold the brush the right way. Come on. R.I.P. Paperboy. I know. I thought he was gonna. For a while there, I thought, oh, maybe we'll have him looking nice. And I need to do these wee. Oh, come on. I mean, I feel like I could be like, "Ah, ha, 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 look how bad I am at this," but I think it's a lot more interesting if we actually try. I can't even clean my brush properly with my left hand. Is this what it feels like to be a normie? Like those, people like when you try to show one of your models to your aunt or something like that. It's like, oh my god, it's tiny. How do you do that? This is probably how I painted when I first started painting, but with my right hand. Could try painting some shadows. Just you wait till it's your turn here, Seabass. I'll be there offering you lots of helpful advice. Oh man, it's going onto the apron and everything. I'm struggling to even like sometimes like you can feel how much water's in your brush and like how much my left hand is rubbish. Look at that. No control. Get the quick shader. I don't own quick shade, mate. I would need to put a load of wash in a bucket or something. And you're good. Ah, I wasn't even like dragging that out to try and milk that a bit. That was genuinely the fastest I could manage that without making a complete hash of it. Dreadful. A bit more. Over what I was doing. Felt like I was trying to paint with an oven mitt on. Right, I think we'll do a wee bit of work on his skin. Doing a lot of... Well, so we've done one gradient and blocked in a load of colour. It's been a strange session, hasn't it? Oops. I'm just using a wee bit of Bugman's Glow. So one of my go-to paints for skin. The next, like, follow, or host will cause Waldo to spin the wheel in celebration. I probably need to wait on that drying before I do another pass at it, but I'm a bit reluctant to use the hairdryer on it, given it went all floppy before, didn't it? So let's get a bit more weight. Oh, wheel spinning. Sing a song about what you're painting for 30 seconds. I don't even... I'm trying to think. I can't even think of a song. Drawing a blank right now. Help me out, chat. What should I sing? As you can probably tell, I'm not a particularly musical person, so a song about what I'm painting. Oh, do you know? Sing. Right, hold on. Let me get the lyrics for Old Tannenbaum. Hold on. No. Oh crap, it's in German. Hold on. Bet you guys would love to hear me have a go at that in German. No chance. Right, I'm trying to... I'm painting flesh, do, and repeat. That's a cop-out. Right. That's... no. So what it's doing is it's giving me "O Christmas Tree" or "O Tannenbaum" in German, whereas I want... This was, of all the things on the wheel, this was the one that I was dreading the most. Try that. I'm probably making this worse for myself doing this. And this viewers, have you? All right, I see what you're saying. Beat Waldo back. Yeah, spin me again. That was a pure fail, that. Weird green somewhere on the model. Right. So see when we say weird green, this is the kind of color that we're meaning. So as you can see from your boy so far, what do you think? Where should we put some lime green? What do we reckon? I think we could maybe do some suspicious green stains on his yeah, green ink stains, I'm thinking. It's a little weird, but maybe this kind of get some sort of unpleasant stain on his coat here. Maybe a gremlin exploded on his coat. Something like that. Maybe he's trekking through the swamp. Maybe his green paint exploded all over him. Who knows? There. Got some green stains, and they're looking I guess, maybe a little out of place just now, so add a little bit of depth to them with a bit of Arden green. A kind of mossy green colour. Maybe looking a little on the flat side without that. it invariably is with this sort of thing. So thank you very much. Just getting my windows and stuff sorted. Thank you very much for bearing with us. Anyway, so there we go. Some weird green splodges that are making him look like he's covered in moss. So, hmm. What we could try doing to make them look like old stains is what they call a diaphanous glaze. And that is just a fancy term for a very, very thin glaze. What a diaphanous glaze will do for you is it will make it look like in this case, the lime splodges are below the surface, as if they have seeped in to the leather. So I think we can go thinner than that. So we just go over it like so. And then we wait for that to dry and we do another one. So the idea is we're going to try and knock back that color a little bit. So you probably wouldn't have as much lime green as that normally on a model like this, but such is the way with Waldo's Wheel of Woe that this is the kind of thing we have to deal with. So poor Tannenbaum. Poor Tannenbaum. Okay. There we go. Just working on his face a little. Those skin tones. Let that dry in a bit. So yeah, I think Doug mentioned it earlier, but the Waldo's Weekly went out earlier today, and it looks as though we are getting some alt Nephilim. Those stains make me think he's been printing out counterfeit script. No wonder he's holding that case so close. He's got it all rolled up in those maps. Gonna smuggle it out of the city. And just do a little bit of tidying up. Sometimes I'll jump around a model on a little bit of a whim, to be honest, but if you're not 100% sure what you're going to do with it, it can be a good idea just to get all your colours blocked in first. See how they read next to each other. Oh, wheels spinning. Do your best Bob Ross impersonation. Oh, jeez. I was talking about this recently, so I didn't grow up with Bob Ross the way some of you guys maybe did, but we'll do our best. So I'm going to go for a little sort of ASMR type thing, and we don't make mistakes. We have happy little accidents. So just go with it. We need to paint a little friend for him. How for the life of me, we're going to paint a little friend for him. I don't know when he's just one model, but there you go. That was my terrible Bob Ross, the philosopher of painting. The wheel has only 4 challenges left. Dun dun dun. We got through a lot of them. Geez, I did not think that we would get through this many. Oh, it's spinning again. Oh, we're gonna get. Chat picks the next color. Okay. Setting Tannenbaum down. Chat. Tannenbaum's fate is in your hands. Yeah, we kind of skipped out in the song, didn't we? So I feel like I maybe owe you a song sometime, chat. But right, let's hear it. What color? What color is going on Tannenbaum? Purple. Right, Raven Art Minis. You were the first, so we're going to go with purple. And I've got some ideas. So, where is it? What we're going to do is we're going to make. I think we're going to do a sort of purpley leather on, see that tube that he's holding there? So, where are we? So what we're going to see is if we can knock this right back, make it look quite natural. So I think that's a bit too vibrant. So I do have. So this is called black leather, but it's actually quite a muted purple, almost a burgundy, you might say. I really like painting purple myself. Yeah, I actually like using purple to shade red. It can be really cool. So There we go. Got quite a muted purple here, but it is purple. So just base coating just now, so nice thin and opaque layers on here. Sometimes we'll use purples to do skin, particularly if it's a kind of sickly looking creature. Can work quite well. Use and then like bruises and things like that if they're doing quite dark looking eyes, that can be useful. It is just a great color. It's great for shading red. Well, use it to shade red. It's going to make this look quite opulent, actually. I think when I go to properly finish this guy off, because I think I will. I think what I might do, because I think he should still have some weird green on him. I might get rid of the green on the apron. Maybe move it up onto the lens. The other thing is that he is Explorer Society, so probably do a leafy green base akin to this guy. So I could get plenty of weird green onto him that way, couldn't I? Just a quick blast to the hairdryer. That's a good little lesson to bear in mind, actually, is that these pre-assembled miniatures, they're actually made from a plastic resin, so it is a lot less resistant to heat than the hard plastic stuff. So if you are using a hairdryer on them, be careful. I'm going to darken that color down a little bit with a bit of black. Like so. I do find them tough. on the pre-assembled kits. You can see I've done a pretty good job, I think, on this guy. There's not a whole lot of mold line on him, but I think with the pre-assembled stuff, I think you maybe need to accept that you may be going to have a little bit of roughness here and there. Because the problem, if you can't scrape the mold line off, you're maybe thinking to yourself, well, you know, I could try sanding it. But the problem you have is if you sand that, there's a good chance you're just going to take the detail right off it. So I think you try not to be too fussy with them, I guess, is what I'm saying. But I think a little bit of sanding, a little bit of scraping it off can maybe help you. So I'm just very subtle, but doing a little bit of shadows into this guy. And I probably will go pure black on this because this purple's so dark. Oh, I've flooded that a little bit. Plastic cement. I'll need to try that. That's an interesting. And again, like I think I said earlier, if you try to make your shading and highlighting too neat on leather, it won't look right. So a little bit of roughness. That is interesting. I'll need to try that. So just kind of roughly dabbing the black on. I use some push strokes here and there because you do want to have that shading look a bit more natural. Thanks, guys. Yeah, that's us. We made it. And look, Tannenbaum's not looking completely terrible. Hey! I feel bad for bottling it on the song, but I'll maybe next. Or are we spinning the wheel again? Uh-oh. Say Waldo's wheel welcomes wild whimsy 3 times fast. Waldo's wheel welcomes wild whimsy. Waldo's wheel welcomes wild whimsy. Waldo's wheel welcomes wild whimsy. Yes! And I will rehearse a song for next time. All right, guys. That is it from us at PlayWyrd for this evening, this afternoon, wherever you are. Make sure to tune in again tomorrow for some more painting, some more streaming. I think it is our regular programming tomorrow, so no wild whimsy, but you can still see some really cool painting with Eleanor and Doug. There you go. Thank you, PlayWyrd. Keep me on the ball. You can follow me, my link tree there, that redirects to everything. Like I said, I have made affiliate status, so maybe check my stuff out. I am hoping to start collating some tutorials and things for my Twitch subscribers. So if you're looking for some more direction, some more intensive direction with your painting, consider subscribing. Right, guys, it's been fun. See you again.